This guest comes all the way from Washington, D.C.
It's a long way.
That other Washington place.
Yeah.
We've heard of it. Don't know that much about it. We're a little afraid of it. But,
we have Dr. Robert Dietz. He's the chief, could I say that right? Robert Dietz. He's the chief economist for the National Association of Home Builders. The Central Washington Home Builders Association is pleased to present a special housing forecast event that's today. Right?
Yes.
Today, yeah. Today, and that's why I said I'm hungry for a steak, because it's at the Yakima Steak Company. It'd be a great lunch. You're going to love lunch. You are going to love lunch. September 25th, 11:30 today at the Yakima Steak Company. Tickets, $30. Registration can be found online. Go to the Central Washington Home Builders Association website right there. But we got him in the house this morning. Good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. It's good to join you this
We're
morning.
going to squeeze every bit of information out of him right now.
That's right.
You take the head, I'll take the tail, and twist we shall. Yakima is in a good place right now, it seems like, as far as housing goes. What is the national picture, and how many organizations and feelers do you have to have out in order to be responsible for the nationwide picture? You must be talking to people all over the country all the time.
Really do. We travel once a week. There are about 800 local home builders associations, including the Central Washington HBA. Nationally, we continue to see growth. The overall condition of the economy is fairly strong. This year, we should see 3% GDP growth. That's helping builders. We have a couple of problems, challenges on the road ahead. We've got a labor shortage that is limiting how quickly we can build homes and remodel homes. And then the other issue is the price gains that have been a good thing for homeowners over the last few years. They're beginning to hold back demand a little bit. We're seeing some concerns among buyers about affordability conditions. And so what does that mean? Well, we think the demographics are good. We've got a lot of buyers who can't find enough housing. If we can work and find ways to reduce the cost of construction, we can help homeownership and housing affordability. So that's the challenge.
How big a part does immigration concerns play into the labor issue in housing?
It has an effect, but it's a smaller one than you would expect.
Not like agriculture or something like that.
Right. So in the construction industry, about a quarter of the workforce are non-native born workers, as immigrants of one form or another. In the construction industry, the share of those immigrants as a share of our workforce has actually gone up a little bit over the last few years, even as the inflow of immigration has slowed down.
Percentages of them picked up.
Right. The real challenge is getting domestic, U.S.-born workers into the construction industry.
Come on, guys, swing a hammer. What's the deal? How about women construction companies? You know, we've seen some talk that they've kind of come on, right?
Yeah, so we got 9% of the construction industry right now is women. That's better than what it's been in the past, but it is an area where we can really grow the labor force. And as the techniques associated with home building and remodeling change, more automation, more machines, programming, design features, we think that share is going to grow.
All right.
You know, I just have to say, you say you got a problem, but I mean, couldn't you? I mean, a lack of work. That's good news, because you got homes being built where you need workers. I suppose we've been in a situation where we've had a lot of workers and not enough homes being built, right?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a great way to characterize the way the economy is right now. The problems that we're yelling about, that we're complaining about, are good problems to have.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Because demand is strong. So
people are selling their homes for more, right? And so
building material prices are up. We don't have enough workers, and we're short on land and lots.
Right.
Now, some of that is due to policy failure. We need to reduce the cost of land development, make land easier to acquire and develop. That'll help those young people build homes, buy homes, and establish roots. But generally speaking, housing demand's fairly strong because the unemployment rate is so low.
Sure, yeah.
Is it mostly total new construction that you guys deal with? I mean, could the Florence floods and all of that put a spike into things?
It tends to have a temporary impact. We saw that last year with the Texas and Florida hurricanes. It increases building material costs. It makes the labor shortage worse because you get workers going to repair activities. And it slows down single-family construction. But it's a delay effect, not a permanent deferral. So we expect we'll see that a little bit in the Carolinas. The affected market in terms of Hurricane Florence was about 10% of single-family construction. So that's a pretty big share.
Sure.
But generally speaking, those are population growth centers. So we'll expect continued growth. The real concern is rising interest rates. That's going to build into that affordability issue. We know the Fed's going to raise rates because the economy is so strong, and it was made stronger last year by tax reform. But as those rates go up, it is going to get more expensive.
Not if you listen to the Democrats, you won't hear that it was made stronger by tax reform.
We're looking at about 4.6% 30-year fixed rate rate mortgage. We think it's going to go a little bit higher than 5 over the next 18 months or so.
Well, get in now, I guess, then, right?
That's right.
Trade wars, anything like that? What's that all doing to you?
So this is one area where I think we part company a little bit with the current administration. Now, I'm a free trader. I'm an economist. We kind of have to be almost by religion and training. But it is increasing the cost of lumber. It's increasing the cost of other building materials. And then we just saw the announcement of the $200 billion of Chinese goods that are going to be subject to a tariff. We did an estimate and found that's about $1 billion tax on housing. So we hope we'll increase domestic production of some of those goods and we'll resolve some of these trade issues.
All right, but when you put it that way, that you're a free trader and the administration isn't, is it not true that the administration would just as soon be that way, but the tariffs and all of this are in an effort to force the world into joining us in a free trade situation? I mean, it's the current pain for the future betterment?
That's absolutely right. So I was going to say, if we can knock down some of these deals with Canada and Mexico and Europe, we can focus on some of the abuses which are real in China.
We can get benefit on the back end coming around, right?
It's just, let's just hope their negotiations go quickly, because we are inflicting pain on ourselves, and that's what happens in a conflict. But let's hope this isn't permanent policy.
We were talking with Mr. Dietz, Dr. Dietz, Richard Dietz, is it Robert?
Robert, yes.
Robert Dietz, and he's here to talk with the Central Washington Home Builders, and maybe you, if you want to attend the lunch today, 11:30 to 1 at the Yakima State Company. Here's kind of an out there question. You know, Lance talks about, talk about tariffs and trade. I go to HGTV. That separates the difference between the news guy approach and the Goofy Dave approach. Do programs like that set dreams and expectations for materials and design and stuff, and how does that play into the cost of housing that people want to do?
So it's interesting. My wife is an economist too, so we're a numbers-based family. I know, real exciting. We're jealous, but
can't wait for Thanksgiving at that house.
Right.
This year's turkey was 8.2% bigger than last.
That is not far off. But, so we're in the middle of a kitchen remodel, so we've been watching a lot of HGTV. It's aspirational. It's fun to watch.
Sure.
It sometimes sets unrealistic expectations about costs and turnaround time. We mentioned the labor shortage.
Yeah.
A lot of
They do it in like 30 minutes. Come on.
Well, they don't do it all, right? There's a little smoke and mirrors. But at the same time, you do get a sense of what people are doing. And it identifies where we are in the housing market, which is we have an aging housing stock. So a lot of these shows that fix up an older home, that is, in part, some of the future of home building. And we see that in a lot of markets.
We just had the Central Washington Home Builders Tour of Homes. I went on the tour last Saturday, and I think we were in a half dozen homes in Yakima, new construction. And the range of stuff is really fascinating, from the uber high end to just what is really, really nice, and to find that, still around $260, $280, you can find some great homes for that. And then we saw some $500,000 homes and more. And it's I guess the sky's the limit. I read yesterday online that a place in, Asia was going to sell for $444 million, the most expensive home in the world. And it was like a 3-bedroom regular house. Part of that because of the nature of the ground it was on, right? In Asia, where there's no room to build and everything like that. So.
I mean, that's consistent with some of the big challenges that we see in the U.S. housing market. There are markets like Seattle, the California area, that have seen home price gains really grow a lot faster than incomes. And what is that doing? It's causing affordability concerns on those coastal markets and causing individuals to move further out to markets like this, Idaho, Utah.
And people talk about the contribution of that to homelessness, and that there is who's out there building low-end housing. You can't make money doing that, can you, or can you?
And from a policy perspective, that's a little concerning, because we've got a great economy, we've got wages growing, unemployment's low, but if you go to markets, some parts of the Northwest and coastal cities, you'll see a lot of homeless people. What's it going to look like when the unemployment rate's 6% rather than 3.9%?
Yeah, it's, hey, buddy, move over. I need some of that cardboard right there with you. I mean, we don't want to see ourselves get there. So just for the foreseeable, everybody, we kind of live for the moment, but we need your line of work. You need to push it out and look. We've got another roughly 2 years of Trump's term. Let's just say, how do you think things will be 2 years from now?
So our forecast is strong growth in 2018, a little bit weaker in 2019, but I think the tax reform and the tax cuts that people will realize when they file their 2018 tax returns are going to be good for spring and summer, both home buying and retail. And then 2020, as interest rates continue to grow, I think the economy is going to begin to weaken a little bit. So if you're looking at 2020 and 2021, the probability of a recession is rising. There are policy issues that we can tackle to maybe keep this going, encourage innovation, encourage business investment, deregulation, and resolve some of these trade disputes.
Well, that's a good point, because it seems like there's that inevitable cycle about the economy and gets going too good, and then we try to ramp it down so it doesn't go crazy. And in the meantime, there are things, though, and Trump is, if anybody's going to mess with regulations and do things to try to keep it stoked on the back end, I mean, it'll be his administration. So. Interesting to see how that will be offset going forward.
Good stuff. Dr. Robert Dietz, Chief Economist for the National Association of Home Builders. I want to say thanks for coming in this morning.
Yeah, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Stuff.
Yeah,
great stuff.
We rarely get to speak with somebody for that 30,000 point view. We're usually like this.
That's right.
It's really nice to have you.
It was fun. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.